Okay, today we're going to be talking about getting your kids into crawling. I love doing activities with my son, me and him together, and, eventually, he wanted to get into the same hobbies as me. But you don't want to break the bank, obviously. My son's only 6 years old. If your son is extremely young, around 3 or 4 years old, I wouldn't buy him an Axial or a Traxxas. If they're around that age, I just get them something like, this cheap RC right here is like 15-20 bucks on Amazon. Basically, can't perform, can't crawl, it has, fake suspension, nothing is, real good on this car. It just gives them the illusion that they're, in the same hobby as you. It's the same size as the Axial 24 scales. But around, 6 years old, they appreciate the hobby a little bit more and understand a lot about it. So, getting them basically somewhat of a stock Axial SCX 24 is a great choice. You wouldn't go all out and give them something like this. This is more like a $400 rig, a lot of work done on it. It's just too much for to spend on your child at that age. If your kid is around 14, 15 years old, then yes, they can appreciate something like this and they'll respect it. But sometimes they'll get a little too violent and go a little too far with the RCs, getting running them into things. You just don't want to spend that kind of money at that age. But what I was going to go over, even at 6 years old, my son notices that his car doesn't perform as well as mine stock, and he notices that mine looks a lot better than his too. And actually, he's surprisingly gotten pretty good on the course and actually at driving, and actually respects the hobby more than I thought he would. So I'm just going to tell you a few things you can do to actually, make a stock SCX 24 perform a lot better without breaking the bank. So basically, on the stock suspension, a free mod, all you'd have to do is move the stock suspension from this straight point right here, remove the screw from the frame right here that holds the ESC tray on, and plug in the suspension screw right here, and also on the back end remove this post pillar from these two slots right here, and then make the suspension mount to the frame at a slant. That gives you a lot more articulation from the stock suspension and actually makes the vehicle far more capable than it would be stock, even using the stock suspension. Another thing that really helps out, that's not a lot of money, is the are these 4mm extended hex bolts from Inhora. They only cost about $12, and they're made out of brass, and they add a lot of extra weight to the bottom of the vehicle, surprisingly, and they extend the vehicle about 4mm on each side, which gives you a wider stance, and that wider stance stops this vehicle from flipping over as much as it does stock, and that really helps my son drive a lot more. And the only amount of extra money I spent on this SCX 24 is about $13. So all in all, again, depending on the age of your son or daughter, it gives you a couple of options to choose from here on, which route you're going. Again, if they're very young, just go with something cheap around the 3 to 4 year mark. 5, 6 to, I'd say, about 10 years old, I'd just go with a stock SCX 24, a few mods, and over that you can, they'll respect the vehicles a lot more. Now I'm gonna just go into a quick course run with the SCX 24 deadbolt with a few modifications that I made, just to kind of show you the performance enhancements and the extra articulation that you get from just doing those few mods, and the, you know, basically it just tips over a lot less easy with that total 8mm extensions on the side, even with the stock wheels.